So finishing up with Jupiter Ascending, um, I would say don't see this one. If you have to see a Wachowski movie, um, I have a couple of favorites. I really loved their first movie. I love Bound. It's so different from anything else they ever did, but it's so much fun, that movie. I really love Cloud Atlas. If you're really looking for a challenge, this is the one to see. I really love that movie. I can't say that I understood all of it, but it was an interesting ride. I hate that it wasn't as successful as it should have been. But like I said, don't go in for this one. This movie's just a mess, and it's frustrating. It's kind of boring, actually. But let's talk about trailers. I got some new ones on this time. Actually, I got a couple of new ones. The first was not a new one. The Terminator Genesis, which I've talked about to death. But I'll just reiterate. I'm going to see it because it's a brand name. I loved Terminator, and I love Terminator 2. And I want to see Arnold get back on the screen. I want to see Arnold get back to work. The second one kind of intrigued me. It was Ted 2. And I have this feeling that comedy sequels generally do not work. But I saw the trailer for this, and I was kind of, eh. Then I got into it, and I laughed, which in a comedy trailer is key. Because if you don't laugh in the trailer, you're probably not going to laugh in the movie. But I laughed a lot in the trailer. The story is different. Apparently, Ted is trying to get married, and in order to do that, he has to be deemed a human being. So he has to go through a court procedure for that. I thought that was interesting, only to the degree that it's not the same as the first one. They're not just repeating it, which they tend to do. Hello, Ghostbusters. The third one was, there's 6 of these. The third one was Insurgent, which is the sequel to Divergent. And again, like Terminator, this is going to be a brand name. I really liked the first one. I thought the first one was terribly underrated. And I like Shailene Woodley. And those are the two things that are sending me to this one. Apparently, something's happening in the wiring, and she's beginning to see her inner demons. And the trailer plays up the fact that she fights with a clone of herself. I thought that was really interesting. What was not so interesting was the next one, which was Run All Night, which I've talked about this before. It's a Liam Neeson movie. It's another Liam Neeson action movie, and it could go either way. It could be as good as A Walk Among the Tombstones, or it could be Taken 4. Basically, he's a hitman who killed a man's son, and the man is going to get back at him by killing his son. And he's trying to prevent that, and that's the gist of it. I have a feeling this may end up being on the pile up there with the Gray and Unknown and all that, and the Taken sequels. Excuse me. The next one was Chappie, which, like Terminator, excuse me, which, like Terminator, I've talked to death about. And this one was a little more full trailer. It was more story oriented, so I got a little more of it. Apparently he's adopted by a family. This robot in the future is adopted by a family. It looks very much like a side plot to District 9. And honestly, I'm beginning to get to the point where I see this trailer, I see trailers for this movie on every movie I go to lately. I go to one movie a week. If you follow this series, you know I go to a movie a week. This and Terminator, I'm beginning to see the trailers for these every week. And the more trailers I see for Chappie, the less I want to see it. I'm starting to get really kind of tired of Chappie. The last one was Focus, which is the movie in which Will Smith plays a con artist, and he gets a student played by Margot Robbie. She played DiCaprio's wife in The Wolf of Wall Street. She was the blonde. And basically he teaches her the game, and what I get from the trailer is they fall in love with each other. But are they scamming each other? And that's kind of the gist of it. I don't know. I have a real problem buying Will Smith as a leading man. It just doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't seem to. I really can't buy that. I like the idea of the plot. I like the fact that the male lead and the female lead, he's black and she's white. That's an interesting dynamic. And according to the trailer, apparently they don't point that out. It just kind of happens. I like that. I like that. They just make it a normality. But so that's it. Skip Jupiter Ascending. Again, if you have to, see it on television. Don't go to the theater to see this. It's not worth it. Next week, there are two movies that I'm going to see. 50 Shades of Grey, of course, which is kind of an obligation. And the other one is The Kingsman, which I've talked about to death. But that'll be up next week. So, visit me at my website. I'm at www.armchaircinema.com. And until next time, see ya.